question is for Jehoshaphat, your study. And I want to ask you about the multitude, because in your study you said that you made it as if anyone who identified with God was going to use in that battle with Jehoshaphat to win that battle. And then I wanted to compare that to Isaiah 31.
Isaiah 31?
Isaiah 31, because in Isaiah 31, God seemed to be not wanting the multitude to fight in any battles that we may have.
Do you know the verse in Isaiah 31?
It sort of starts right at the beginning.
Okay. Verse 1, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Jehovah. Yeah. So this is really discussing Israel's problem. When they would get into danger sometimes, they would look to Egypt. They would look to a greater nation which had a stronger army for protection, and rather than looking to God. But as far as what's going on in 2 Chronicles 20, God sort of musters all Judah, and then Jehoshaphat leads his army. And you know, the army of Judah was huge. It's numbered.
You said like a million.
It's 1,160,000 men. They were numbered in Jehoshaphat's third year. The battle in 2 Chronicles 20 has taken place, I think, in his 18th year, so 15 years later. We could expect probably the army numbers went down. You know, people die, get old, but still it couldn't go down too much, so it would have remained a huge host. But the point is, with having all Judah go to the battle, it's picturing Christ coming with 10,000s of his saints. It's sort of like picturing the salvation of all the elect. That when we come to Judgment Day, Christ, typified by Jehoshaphat, leads all his people to the battle. But remember, the instructions were you have no need to fight in this battle. And so they didn't go forth to fight, but they did go forth, which is kind of odd and unusual. Why would God even bother bringing them? Why not just tell them through the prophet, God will fight in the battle and you don't even have to go. You can stay here and you'll hear reports that God has destroyed your enemy. That in order, if God wanted to signify that his people would not be involved in the battle of Judgment Day.
Right.
But he had them go, just like Christ comes with 10,000s of his saints, and the saints aren't doing any fighting. It's God who does all the fighting against the wicked in the day of judgment. But historically, in 2 Chronicles 20, the Lord had the people, the men of Judah, go to the battle to sort of picture that God judges the world with his saints. And like, for instance, we're here. It's Judgment Day. Christ has already come spiritually to begin the judgment process, and we're at the battle. No one should kid themselves and think we're not involved in the battle. We're in presently the battle of Judgment Day, but we're not to fight. And so it's not us that are trying to bring down institutions, that are trying to uncover sins of man. We're not doing. Who is doing that? Who's behind all these revelations? It's God who is orchestrating events and in control of all this, and he's destroying the people of the world in a spiritual way, bringing shame upon them, which is a big part of Judgment Day. And we're just recognizing what the Bible's teaching, right, and sharing that. Right. And through the sharing of that, we're participating. We're participating in two ways. One, if we're one of the elect, God had to save us before he shut the door of heaven, every one of us. He couldn't leave one outside the door. So every one of us had to first be saved so he could begin Judgment Day. And secondly, we're participating by sharing the information that the Lord opens up.
I guess my question is kind of like the multitude. Like, remember when Jesus was about ready to be stoned and he was kind of saved by the multitude? So
You mean, why is there a multitude of men of Judah going to the battle?
And then you're saying, you're kind of like saying in your study that anyone who identified, and I guess whoever that would be, identified with Christ, kind of helped in that battle. And it reminded me of the multitude.
Well, no, because when we look at the battle, they were all dead when they arrived. So they didn't do a thing. As far as the enemy, they didn't lift up sword or shoot an arrow.
Just dead.
They arrived and they're all dead, and they basically gathered the spoil. So God does get all the glory.
Right.
But remember, he did save a great multitude. So there is a great multitude of elect upon the earth, which Jehoshaphat's army, which was over 1 million, a huge host, would probably point to that great multitude.
Okay.
We're again instrumental spiritually through the completion of salvation and through the opening of the scriptures to which God is opening up the eyes of his people, and then we share them.